Analysis of ZVT, considering the posture of the opponent's units and how to figure out some things about their strategy without necessarily seeing everything that's going on. So you can think about Terran opening with a barracks and with a marine, and if the opponent uses that marine, they can push away overlords and sort of hide some information about what's going on. So one thing that I've been doing on this map is drone scouting, just to find out whether or not it's going to be 3-Rax Reaper. 3-Rax Reaper is a really, really strong build in general, so if you can scout that and then get a Roach Warren, it'll make the defense a lot easier. So I went hatch first, and then a gas, and then a pool. Super, super standard. My first overlord is rallied across the map to scout, and then I send this drone, basically just to see if they took a base or not. My second overlord is going this way. A lot of times they'll put their proxy barracks kind of in this area. I ended up missing these 2 barracks. But with this drone, it gets pushed away by a marine. I'm going to keep my overlord kind of at a safe spot here. So my first 100 gas goes ling speed. That's just a general good expenditure. Normally, I'll go for overlord speed with my next 100 gas. Since the opponent didn't go for Reaper, I can just send my first lings across the map. They're not going to be defending anything, so they might as well look around. And then when I get to the opponent's side of things, I see 4 marines out in front of the base. This is like ridiculously forward as a posture of some units. If they wanted to take a natural expansion, they would be afraid of something like a Ling Bane cheese, so they would want to have the marines up here or ready to hop into a bunker. But these are like way out in front of the map, so I'm thinking, alright, this looks like a super aggressive posture. What kind of aggression could this be? This could be a variety of 1 base all-ins. It could just be someone who's overextending with their marines. But against a hyper-aggressive posture, rather than go for another informational piece like overlord speed, I was just thinking, alright, they've given me enough information with the position of these marines. They're preventing me from scouting whether or not this base has been taken. So I'm thinking maybe a Bane Nest. If this marine count keeps getting larger and larger and they send these marines, it can be really hard for just queens and lings to beat that. Ends up they went for 5 barracks. They're pooling up a bunch of marines over here. I don't have information of that. All I know is that these marines are being ridiculously aggressive for some reason. So I built the Bane Nest. I have half saturation at the natural about, full saturation in the main with 1 gas, and 3 queens. Those are my pieces in the game so far. We'll slow it down and then think about the decision making and where to morph Banes. So I see marines here. Once these marines show up, alright, we know what happened. It doesn't really matter where the proxy is. We've decided basically at this point there was a proxy, and this is a 1 base all-in. Terran can't afford to have this many marines on your side of the map at 3 minutes 40 and also have an expansion and also have factory starport. Other things. This is 1 base all in with an orbital command and a bunch of proxy barracks. So I say, alright, you can have this location. I'm going to fall back. I'm going to go into the main, try and pull drones, and then I'm morphing my Banes on high ground. If I morph my Banes down here on low ground, they could just attack forward and clean them up really quickly. So I'm morphing them here. I spend all my gas that I could, and then I'm using my lings to kind of buy time. Once this is run over, it's basically a win. But if you imagine I took overlord speed with my gas after ling speed, I didn't make a Bane Nest, I would be in a really bad spot against this particular attack. So whenever you're scouting with your units, you should think about the posture of how the opponent is behaving with their army, because that will generally disclose how aggressive or defensive they're going to be over the course of the match.